Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sociology 3S, Critical Thinking About Society for Fall of 2019. My name is Dr. Janine Nkosi, and that is a picture of me right there speaking at a community forum that my daughter over here to my right, that's her looking over at me. My daughter and another young leader co-hosted and co-facilitated a big community forum in West Fresno. My students and I were fortunate to be a part of the work that was happening around criminal justice reform through our service learning work. And so I just wanted to pop a picture of me up there so that way you could put a face, that's from a few years ago, but you could put a face to the voice that's behind the microphone here. So the purpose of this video is for me to give you an overview of Sociology 3S, as well as to give you some basic information about how to access our Canvas course site and the syllabus and what to do in this very first week of SOC 3S. So to access our Canvas site, just go to the Fresno State homepage, and then over here under quick links, if you click on Canvas, then you're going to see the Canvas login button right here. So click on Canvas, and then if I click on it, it's going to give me like an access denied because I'm actually already logged in on another tab. But just click right there, and then you're just going to put your username and password for like what you use for your My Fresno State and your email and your Canvas. It's all the same password. So once you log in there, then you're going to land, actually you'll be in probably your dashboard. And then if you, from your dashboard, let's see if it gives me, I can't get the options, but you'll have some buttons for the different classes that you're enrolled in, or maybe your courses is what pops up. I'm not really sure when you first get in Canvas what it'll look like. Probably your dashboard, but just click on courses, and then you're going to see a list of the classes that you are enrolled in for fall semester. And one of those classes should be SOC 3S, and the section could be 2, 4, or 6. I'm teaching 3 sections of SOC 3S this semester, so it's okay if it doesn't say O2. You're just enrolled in a different class. So click on SOC 3S, and then the landing page is going to be this home page right here. Now, same thing, the banner and the color scheme is going to look a little bit different, and the section number, depending on which section you're enrolled in, but it's pretty much going to look just like this. You'll see a welcome message from me. Read over that. It basically says that I'm really excited to work with you all. I love teaching sociology, a little note about critical thinking, and taking a critical thinking class from the sociological perspective and kind of like what that means. And then the second part of the home page or the landing page is kind of an overview to help you just get started in SOC. This should actually say 3S. So I'll update that before I open up our site. But this is just some information about the basic structure, the basic format for what you can expect from week to week. So every Friday, I'm going to open up a new module, and the module will stay open, and you have an entire week until Thursday of the following week by 11:59 to complete that. And then I'm going to go over like what is in each module. So like kind of give you a little bullet point list here, but it could like change slightly in terms of sometimes we'll have an activity. Sometimes we might not necessarily have an activity, but there is a basic format. So every week there's going to be an overview, like a little description of what the topic is for the week. There's going to be a checklist, links to any articles or information about what chapters to read in our course text. Almost always will provide a PowerPoint or some type of like a lecture guide. If there's any videos that we're watching, all the links will be in there. If there's any websites you need to go to, they'll all be in the module. Think of the module as a one-stop shop for everything that you need to do for the entire week. And then as far as the homework, there's always going to be a reflection / application / discussion post. So reflection meaning that you are reflecting on a couple, like 1 or 2 critical takeaways, really like key takeaways from what you read or watched. And then the application is that you are applying it to your own lived experience, as well as applying it to what you are observing at your service learning side or in your community-based work. And then it's a discussion because you're going to post a short little 2 to 3 minute Flipgrid video. I used to do these in writing, so students were writing like 1 to 2 pages or 1 page single spaced every week. And instead of doing it in written format this semester, I'm going to roll out this audio video version. And then what's cool about it is students will post their own Flipgrid video, and then you will have an opportunity to respond to a couple of your peers or your classmates in audio video format as well. So we'll see how that goes. I tested it out in an online course that I took last semester, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I think that students might appreciate being able to do it in audio format versus having to type it out. So we'll give it a go, and hopefully it goes well. And then every week there's going to be a quiz, and it's like 10 questions, multiple choice, true, false, maybe like a fill in the blank. But it's just a short quiz to assess your understanding of the readings. But mostly they are focused on the readings from our textbook. And that's pretty much it. So every week, the module is going to contain these elements. And then this right here is a diagram to kind of give you a visual overview of what this whole course looks like. So I already went through the weekly modules on the left-hand side. And then the other major component to this class is that there is a service learning component. And so I really hope this is not the first time that you're really understanding what that S in SOC 3S stands for. But the S does stand for service learning. Don't freak out. Please don't drop this class. I always have students that feel kind of overwhelmed thinking about having to do 20 hours of service learning. But we have 16 weeks, people. 16 weeks. So over the course of the entire semester, if you break that down, we're talking about an hour or 2 of community-based learning. Now, there are opportunities to get involved on campus if you live on campus or near campus. There are opportunities to get involved in the city of Fresno or the surrounding city. If you live outside of Fresno, even if you live out of California or out of the country, I am always, always, always able to work with my students to help them figure out a service learning location or a service learning experience to fit whatever their need is. And so if you have a situation where you can't participate in any of the service learning options that I present to you, just hit me up by email. Let's talk about what your situation is, and the two of us will figure out what we need to do to make sure that you have a good experience. And so there's the service learning component, and these are the elements of it. There's a couple of forms, 20 hours over the course of the entire semester, and then there's one paper at the end of the semester. So it's a 5-page paper. There's a research component connected to your service learning experience. The university requires one 5-page essay or paper, and so that's this paper will fulfill that requirement. There are no exams, just quizzes and the major paper, and then the Flipgrid activities. But that's the basic structure for our class. And then the last thing on the home page is just a little notation or announcement about Module 1. So Module 1 is already open. And after I go through a couple of things that I want to point out in the syllabus, Then I'm going to show you exactly where do you find the module and what are the different components. Basically this right here, you'll be able to see this in module number 1. So that's everything under the home page. Read over that in detail. And then the second thing is the syllabus. So I did email you all a copy of the syllabus. And on our Canvas site, if you click right here on this syllabus tab, it's going to bring you to this page. And basically, where is our syllabus? Yeah. So this is the hard copy of the syllabus that I emailed to all of you. And basically, I took our syllabus, all the different elements on these pages that you see here in the hard copy that I emailed you, and I basically built it into our Canvas site. So I would prefer that you read it on Canvas, but you can by all means read the hard copy as well. The reason why I prefer that you read it on Canvas is because there are more hyperlinks that, see like right here, when I talk about the book, I've hyperlinked in the Kennel Bookstore, Amazon, the direct link to the publisher. So there's more hyperlinks, and this is kind of more interactive if you access it this way. So read over the course description, the course objectives, the learning outcomes, a little blurb about the GE e-portfolio. This is more something that you want to think about towards the end of the semester, but read it over right now so you just have an understanding of what these different elements are. Here's information about our text. Think it is written by sociology professors. Actually, 2 of the professors are in our own department, Dr. Vera Kennedy and the former chair of the sociology department, Dr. Matthew Gendian. So 2 of the authors of our text that we're using are actually faculty in Fresno State's sociology department. And so one of the reasons why I've selected this book is that in the past, I have had to take pieces of 2 or 3 books to try to teach critical thinking in the context of the discipline of sociology. And so what's nice about this book is that sociology professors, since they wrote it, they literally wrote critical thinking in the context of sociology. And so it's a good book. It's definitely engaging. There's really interesting information packed in here. And so I really hope that you find the book interesting and engaging as well. Internet connection obviously is a must. Technical assistance throughout the course of the semester. If you have any challenges with Canvas, or even your email or any technical issues, you can reach out to the Technology Help Center. And so I provided all of the different ways that you can get in touch with those folks there. And then Canvas is new to Fresno State. I actually taught with Canvas over at San Jose State when I was teaching in the sociology department over there. So I'm a little bit familiar with it, but it is brand new to Fresno State. And so check out the student guide. And if you don't check it out right now, just have it as a resource. So if you run into any problem or question at any time in the semester, then you just have some resources here that you can check to hopefully try to find your answer. The class is almost entirely online. So the only part of the class that is not online is the service learning component. And so I'm going to talk, I already kind of talked a little bit about service learning, but there's a section here in the syllabus, and I don't know why this image did not populate, but probably when you open up the Canvas tomorrow, hopefully that image will be there. I'll troubleshoot and get that figured out. But here's the basic course requirements. So these are the different assignments, like a little description of what are the different assignments and what are the total number of points allocated to each assignment. So take your time, read through that, maybe jot down any questions that you have. But I will provide more detailed information and guidelines for each one of these assignments before they're due. So here's just a little description of what it is, but I'll provide much more in-depth detail about how to complete each of these assignments as they get closer. And then here's a little bit more information I was saying about service learning. So read over this so you can get a better understanding of what service learning is and a couple of the different components for our class, like I talked about, there's a couple of forms. So here just gives you the information and the points breakdown for the 2 forms. Here's a little video that my students a few years ago, they decided to create this video explaining the importance and how meaningful service learning was for their educational journey at Fresno State. And they also wanted to create this so they could share it with other students. So it's about 9 minutes. I really hope that you'll take a look at that. It's basically students talking to other students, and I've got a couple comments in there as well. The Richter Center at Fresno State, here's a link. See, this is what I'm saying, but there's hyperlinks embedded in here. So click here, you can get redirected over to the Richter Center, and there is a lot more information about service learning and other ways that students can get involved in campus and community services and activities and stuff. And then here's a link to my ePortfolio, which has more in-depth information about projects that my students and community partners and myself have been involved in over the course of my 9 years now teaching at Fresno State. And then there's the grade scale. Here's a little snapshot of the course calendar. It's probably hard to read right here, but you already have the syllabus emailed to you. Here's another link for you to download and access the hard copy of the syllabus, which is probably a better way to look at the course calendar. And then here's some information about how to communicate with me, how to communicate with one another. I created a help me help you discussion board. And so you can either click on this link right here, or you can find the link to the discussion board right here. And let me just click on that right now. I created this one right here and I pinned it to the top, and basically I'm offering 1 point of extra credit to the first student who responds thoughtfully and accurately to another student's question that's posted on this discussion board. Now, I really want to encourage you, you have to check the syllabus, check Canvas, see if the information is there, and if you don't find it there, then go right here and hit reply and post your question here. And this is a way for you all to help each other out. So I have about 150 students this semester, and so it would be really helpful for me if you all could help each other out. I'll check over these responses just to make sure that they're accurate. If nobody else responds, then of course, I'll respond here too. But don't post anything like personal or private here. Hit me up if it's something that's personal or private. Hit me up by email. But if it's a general question about the class, post it here and then help each other out. Okay, so back to the syllabus. How to communicate. So the one other thing that I want to say about communicating with me is since I have so many students, I really, really, really need you all to follow this format right here when you are emailing me. Use a 2 to 3 word description indicating like what's the purpose of the email, right, in the subject line. So it could be like, here's a little example. Maybe you need some help with the textbook. So put in the subject line, textbook help, and then our class, SOC 3S-02, in the subject line. Now, make sure that you obviously change this depending on whatever class you're enrolled in. But I would really appreciate if y'all could do that for me. And then that would be very helpful. And then the last thing that is under the syllabus section is tons of information for different resources that are available to you throughout the course of the semester. So one thing I want to say, it's the beginning of the semester. You all are just, trying to get set up with all of your classes and buy your books and read all of your syllabi, and it can be overwhelming. So if you are feeling overwhelmed right now or at any time throughout the semester, because you are not only students, some of you are working, some of you are parents, some of you are in the military, some of you are expecting mothers. I mean, I have a whole variety of students that are just, you're not only students, you have lives outside of Fresno State. And it can be hard to balance all of the different commitments that you have. And so reach out to me. We can set up a phone call. We can do a Google Hangout. If there's anything that I can do to support you in this class or any of your other classes, or even connect you with resources like this one right here in the community, could be like maybe you need some help with your PG&E is going to be shut off, or you need some help with finding food resources in the community or at Fresno State. I will do my best to connect you with whatever supports I can, but I need you to reach out to me. And I really mean that. So, so that's everything under the syllabus that I kind of wanted to point out. But please read over it in detail and refer back to the syllabus throughout the semester. And then the very last thing that I want to touch on is the weekly modules. So every week you just, can go right here to weekly modules, and then the next weekly module is going to be built right under this one. Actually, I have some of them already built. They're just not visible to you all, but this is what they'll look like. So this is the first one. Every one contains a little overview, like I had said, just a little description about, what this module is kind of about. And then when it's due, every Thursday by 11:59. And then here's the checklist for everything that you need to do to complete this module. So one of the things was to watch the video getting started in SOC 3S. That's this video. So you're already completing module 1. Read the information under the home and syllabus tab. And so I already showed you where that is and kind of went over some of that with you. There's a little video on what does it take to be a successful online student, just some tips and some resources for that. And let me actually walk you through all these. So here is the module overview. And then after you're done reading this, you just click this next button, and it's going to take you right to the next thing on the checklist. So what it takes to be a successful online student, you can just click and watch the video right inside Canvas. And then I pulled out some notes based on what were the tips that were in this video. And then I also embedded an article that you can click here and it'll redirect you to this website and give you some more tips on how to be successful. And then after you're done watching and reviewing this, then just click on the next. And then here is a little crash course, 9-minute video, just to give you a very high level overview on what sociology is. So take a look at that. I really like the stuff from Crash Course. Subscribe to their stuff and, refer back to some of the videos maybe throughout the semester, depending on, what content we are looking at. And then after you watch that video, you'll read this short excerpt, not too long, not too bad, from the Invitation to Sociology by Peter Berger. There is literally a caution when taking a sociology class. So take a look at that, see what Peter Berger cautions all of us before we step into a sociology classroom or situation. And then there's another little excerpt here from C. Wright Mills, Sociological Imagination, and we're going to dig into that a little more throughout the semester. But this is just going to give you just a little quick glimpse just to start getting you kind of thinking and acquainted with what sociology is and what does it mean to think sociologically and what does it mean to think critically, or to have critical thinking skills from a sociological perspective. After you read over that, then you click the next. Here is the Meet Your Peers activity. There's two fairly quick things that you will want you to do right here. I already updated my Canvas profile. I added a picture. I added a little bio. I added a couple of links to like my LinkedIn and to my ePortfolio. So update your profile on Canvas. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is to complete a Google slide just to help us start building community and start getting to know one another. And I already have my slide posted there as a sample. And then click on next. And the very last thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a short quiz. It's 10 questions, a half a point each, and all of the questions come from information on our Canvas course site, the syllabus, and what I kind of went over in this video. There's no time limit, so if you bump up against a question and you don't know it, for this particular quiz, it's the only quiz where there's no time limit. I want you to just go back over into the syllabus or the home page or the module and find the answer if you run into a question and you're not quite sure. And then that's it. That would be the end, or finishing up the first week's module. And that's kind of an overview. I know that was a lot, but in my defense, I had to provide an entire overview of essentially what we are going to be doing over 16 weeks. So I hope that you are not feeling too overwhelmed. I'm excited to be working with you all. I really love sociology. I really love teaching critical thinking. I mean, my goodness, every time is a good time to teach critical thinking. But right now, there's a lot going on in our country, in our communities, in our lives. And so, we're going to be learning these skills and applying them to what we are observing in our everyday lives. And I think it's going to make for a very interesting class. And I really look forward to our time this semester. And if you have any questions about anything that I went over, you know all of the different ways that you can reach out to me or to your classmates. And yeah, let's dig in.